So a massive thanks to DANLi for that amazing intro. Thank you very much, Dan. It looks absolutely fantastic. So yes, the waiting is finally over. Here we are for round 1 of the 1993 British Touring Car Championship from sunny Silverstone National. A few things to go over though before we get started with the race. Number 1. I'm in a lot of pain, I fell down the stairs, damaged my back, yada yada yada, that's old news. Secondly, I am in an independent entry, so my car isn't as fast as the front running teams. However, I will be fighting for the Independence crown this season, so I'm going to be in the midfield, possibly in top 10s, but I don't think I'll get any higher than that. But I will be fighting for Independence title, as I just said. And a few other little bits and bobs as well. That is pretty much the main one though. So yeah, as you can see, everyone is heading out onto the grid, getting ready for the start of the race, doing a few little warm-up laps here and there. So yeah, without further ado, we'll join Furi and Kazan for the grid walk for round 1 of the 1993 Auto Trader RAC British Touring Car Championship.
Welcome to the 1993 Auto Trader RAC British Touring Car Championship and round 1 from Silverstone. A packed grid, 25 cars are present here, with Steve Soper's new Schnitzer run BMW taking pole position from Ecurie across Vauxhall's David Leslie. Vauxhall Sports' John Cleland lines up third with the new Cavalier Evolution, and alongside him is Alain Menu debuting the new Renault 19. Row 3, Jeff Allam alongside the second Schnitzer BMW of series debutant Jochen Winkelhock from Germany. Will Hoy is next for Toyota alongside Patrick Watts in the little Mazda Zados, a solo works effort this season. Row 5, Julian Bailey for Toyota and the first of the Nissan Primeras, Kia Fodor, followed up on row 6 by the Toyota of Bobby Verdenroe and defending champion Tim Harvey with an uphill battle ahead of him, again in the new Renault 19. Wyn Percy is next up for the Nissan, followed by the first of the independents, Team Dynamics' Matthew Neal. The Asquith Autosport Mazda 323 of Ian Cantwell is next, followed by the Semi-Works Peugeot of Ian Flux. Next row of the grid, James Kay for Toyota, alongside him is Pagan Anderson after a valiant qualifying in his outdated BMW M3. The factory Peugeots struggled. Rob Gravitt here is 19th, alongside one of the older Cavalier GSIs of Team Maxted, crewed by Ian Ashley. Eugene O'Brien is also far back in a miserable session for Peugeot, alongside the second Maxted Vauxhall of Ian Kahn. Dave Pinkney runs his old BMW 3 Series on row 11, alongside series debutant Dan Bartlett with another Toyota, and rounding out the grid is the second Dynamics BMW of Alex Portman.
So here we go then, 25 cars on the grid, ready for the start of race number 1 this season. I will be qualifying this year. I'm not going to start at the back every single time because I'm in a slower car and a slower team, independent team. I will be qualifying to see if I can just out-qualify the other privateers for top spot. But we shall see anyway. Everyone is lined up on the grid ready to get underway. So, yeah, the wait is finally over. 25 laps ahead of us on this short Silverstone National circuit. Fingers crossed everything should go well, no major incidents or accidents on my part or the part of the AI, but we shall see anyway. Long way to go, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a nice close race for the front end and of course for the privateers as well. But here we go. Engines are revved. And lights go out for round 1. of the British Touring Car Championship, and we're underway. And a good start from me, no wheel spin as such. Everyone seems to be bottlenecking now, so we can actually take advantage at the start. Oh, as Rob Gravett gets in our way. You can usually take turn number 1 pretty much flat out in 5th gear if you get the line correct. We're now behind Ian Flux, driving the BMW last year, now in a new Peugeot 405. And everyone is getting a bit gnarly at the front. I'm just taking it steady. And again, this is the first race, proper race, using the new steering wheel. So hopefully things should go according to plan. I shouldn't have too many incidents or accidents. Oh, and a little nudge up the rear by Flux. And then Matt Neal up ahead, another privateer. We can hopefully get around him, squeeze past. Just about. Okay, lap 1 complete, 24 to go. We're up to 14th place, my god. Just take that corner nice and steady, don't want to overcook it too much. Now with the cars, with the privateer cars, how they're set up, they are a lot slower. Well, not massively slower than the works teams, but they are slow enough to not be part of the front running group. So getting up into 6th gear is not really much of a big issue, especially on this circuit. 5th gear is more than enough to get to where you're going to. And we hardly use it at all on the shorter courses. Oh, just a little bit of understeer. Not too bad though. And you can see now the grunt that the works teams have compared to the privateers. They are pulling away. We're 0.9 of a second behind 13th place though. That is a little Mazda 323. Not too bad, I do say so myself. Oh no, it's not the Mazda, it's the Nissan Primera. Sorry, they look very similar at the back. I've decided what I'm doing with the replays as well. I'm going to keep the replay where it is, but if there is an incident on the circuit, then I will do a full screen replay as they used to do way back in the day. So it still keeps everything nice and simple. Don't want to overcomplicate things too much. But so far so good. Still in the top 15, which is better than I thought I was going to do, especially for race number 1. And again, I want to take it nice and steady to start with because the tyres do go off, and I want to preserve my tyres as best as possible. I don't want to lock the brakes, do anything untowards that will degrade the tyre life. And that means I can push harder at the end when everyone else's tyres is gone. So far, so good. I don't think we've got any retirements yet either. I don't see any cars stranded on the circuit. Oh, a bit too deep on that one. Another thing as well, no Ford Mondeos at this circuit, you may have noticed. That's because in 1993 the Ford Mondeos did turn up for round 1, but the car was not ready to race. In fact, the car wasn't ready until round 8 or 9 in the championship when they turned up at Pembrey. Now with GTR 2 I'm able to manipulate the starting order of each race. So by changing a few of the car filters of car classes and so on, I can determine what cars start each race. And I will be doing that for the duration of this season to be as authentic as possible to 1993. So there won't be any Ford Mondeos on the grid until Pembrey, if everything goes according to plan. Speaking too much, forgetting to change gear. Oh, just lock the brakes just a tad. Still so far so good though, we're still doing very well. Lost a bit of time to the Nissan in front though. Oh. And we're losing a bit of time to Ian Flux behind in the Peugeot. You can see the front end of his car in the mirror. .4 seconds behind. Keep it in 5th gear going through the first corner. Now with this as well, because there is no ABS on the front of the cars, or on the brakes I should say, as I go wide, I do have to blip the throttle when I change down the gears, just to stop the front end from locking. Small price to pay. Like there, I did lock the brakes a little bit. Brake bias I'm using is between 61 and 59% front brake bias. Any higher than that and you'll just lock the wheels all the time. And let's see if we can actually get our heads down and get up to the Nissan. I think there's another slow car ahead as well. Oh, and he has slowed down a bit. That is one of the... That is the other Toyota Carina. I don't know who that is, not unless it's one of the back markers gone into the pits or what. If he has done, then you'll probably see it on the replay. Now there's a few other things that are going to be coming up through the rest of the season, namely a few other awesome additions that DANLi will be working on for me, and I've already seen what they look like and it is absolutely fantastic, so yeah, keep your eyes open for that. And I was asked as well, or told, or given an idea in one of the comments during the season preview, to if I don't make it into the top 10 in points this season, then I have to drive a really crappy car for next year. I am going to take you up on that challenge, and yeah, if I don't make it in this season, then I'll probably drive a really naff, old school, probably BMW, which yeah, it's unusual. We had one of the privateers running the old style BMW M3 in this race. He only turned up for a couple of races. The same with Goodwin as well. He turned up in a Works, or an ex-Works Vauxhall Cavalier. Only turned up for a couple of rounds in the entire season. Well, at least I got past the other Toyota Carina, so we're not doing too bad. We're doing pretty damn good for ourselves. Halfway through the field. Again, I didn't expect to actually be this high up in this race because I'm in a privateer team, but it all goes towards the privateer points after each race. So if we don't win the Touring Car Championship, we win the privateers if we do well enough. And that's one of the other Works Toyota Carinas, as I go a bit too deep. Might be Julian Bailey, I believe. You got Julian Bailey and Will Hoy, and very uncharacteristically, at round 9 at Silverstone Grand Prix, Julian Bailey spun out Will Hoy and he subsequently rolled his car. Completely by accident, mind you. He didn't do it maliciously or on purpose, but it's still quite a fancy accident as well. And then immediately after, Tim Harvey rolls it going through bridge. Because Tim Harvey is definitely the showman, and again a bit too deep. So we got the other Carina behind us now. I want to keep him behind as much as possible, but I believe my tyres might be going off. Oh, they can take that corner with more gumption than I can. That is Bobby Verdon Rowe in the other Carina. And we're losing a bit of time onto the front end. And back down to 14th. Not a problem. Let off the throttle, let it coast. Get a good line going through the corner. A little bit faster than Rowe. Keep it in 5th gear. Drop it down into 3rd. Get a better exit than we did previously. Don't want to go out too wide, lose a bit of time. Straight up the gearbox again. You can get it up into 5th or 6th if you want to. I'm going to keep it in 5th gear, so that way you can change down into 3rd. Like so, bite there. And then you should get a good turn in as you go through Woodcut. Like so. And it seems like the other Carina is holding up the Primera, which Bobby Verdon Rowe is actually going to take advantage and try and get past him. No, he was blocked, so I'm actually going to take advantage and get past Rowe. Thank you very much for the spot, sir. Nicely done. Back up into 13th. We could actually get 11th place, or even 10th place. That's Win Percy. He's taken the seat of Andy Middlehurst this year. This Carina, I'm going to do the undercut and go back on the inside if I can. No problem at all. And it is indeed Julian Bailey up ahead. Oh, just lock the front end a little tiny bit. No problem, we didn't lose that much time. And it seems like everyone is struggling on their tyres now. Get the undercut on you if I can, Mr. Bailey. Not quite. However, I have got the position. Go me. Awesome. So I have no idea how many laps we've done or how many laps we have got to go. I'm assuming we're about halfway through the race now. So I brake way too late. And I don't believe we've actually had any retirements, and if we have, they're in the garage. But I don't see any cars strewn across the circuit or at the sides of the circuit. That's one thing I do love about this mod. It is so realistic when it comes to cars retiring and the cars are abandoned on the side of the track. And I don't know why I downshifted for that corner. I should have stayed it in 5th. Nicely done. I did brake a little too early for that one. Not too bad though. Still keeping it together. And we're 10 seconds behind 10th place. I don't believe we're going to catch up to him somehow. Unless something drastic happens, but you never know. Another thing as well, that I am also susceptible to mechanical failure, so my engine could expire at any time. I could lose a wheel, my tyres could pop, my gearbox could implode. So I could DNF on any of the races, as well as crash damage. Again, I'm running at 150% crash sensitivity. So that means the cars are more prone to damage than they would be at 100%. And again, I'm just taking these corners a bit slower than usual, just to preserve tyre life. .1 seconds. Let's see if we can actually catch up to 10th place and see if we can actually get a top 10 in our first race in this new independent team. I would have loved to have gone for a works team, but you know, budget and everything, I can't stretch that far, not on my wallet. So independent it is. Plus, at least if you're in a works team, you don't have to manage 2 cars, so it's only the 1 car for me. I may actually end up doing that. I'll probably in the near future, in another series, I'll run my own 2-car team and see how well we do. Of course, it'll be fictional teams up against the the rear end, oh, throttle it up, bring it back. Yeah, rear end went off a little bit then. Don't come up alongside, please, stay where you are. No, we're good. That was just Win Percy trying to get a position back, but he was kind enough to let me keep this position. And we've lost a second on 10th place. Nicely done, a lot better and a lot more tidier than the previous lap. Uh, 10.4 seconds, okay, we've made up a bit of time. So that is my goal for this race now. A top 10 finish would be fantastic. Teams to beat this year will be definitely the Schnitzer team, the BMW of Steve Soper and Joachim Winkelhock, or Joe Winkelhock. So I think they have already wrapped up the manufacturers and drivers title for this year, but who will take the crown is another thing entirely. It could be Winkelhock, it could be Soper. Or one of the dark horses this year is David Leslie in the Kyriakos Vauxhall Cavalier. In practice, and in a few of the practice races as well, he was incredibly quick. So yeah, it could go down to the wire. It could be multiple teams vying for a championship win. 9.9 seconds, we've actually gone under 10 seconds. So this should be quite a nice fight. And again, preserving tyres is key to these races. No pit stops. So unless anyone has mechanical problems, you won't see anyone going into the pits. And my back is absolutely killing me. I'm fighting through this race in absolute agony. I've been taking painkillers all day. 6.3, he must have a problem. I've been taking painkillers all day. It was a stupid mistake. I just went down the stairs and I lost my footing and I ended up falling down half of the bloody stairs. And the knife edge of the step went straight into my back. Winded me quite a bit and I've got some nasty bruising, but... And it seems like the front end are being caught on back markers, so that is why there's a bit of a gaggle up ahead. ideal for us. But then you want to be careful in case anyone rear ends anyone and so on. You want to stay out of harm's way. I'm pretty thankful that this circuit has more right-handers and left-handers. Because it's the right-hand side of my back that is painful, so if I was going through any left-handers it would cause a bit of discomfort, but so far so good. It's not proving to be too much of a discomfort. Okay, who have we got up ahead then? We got David Pinkney in the BMW Privateer. And we got the Nissan coming up behind again of Win Percy. In fact, that is two of the privateers are about to lapse. So Ian Can and David Pinkney, Vauxhall Cavalier BMW. And we're going to make light work of these if they play fair. Which he doesn't. He blocks his line. What are you doing, matey? Come on. Blue flags mean nothing to AI drivers, apparently. Oh well, give him a little bit of a nudge, let him know that we're around. Gotta stick me lights on as well, just for aesthetic purposes. Now, thanks to Ian Can and Pinkney that we've able to gain a little bit of time on 10th position. So we might even scrape through with a top 10 finish, which would be absolutely wonderful. Actually, I'll turn my lights back off, save a bit of electrics. Keeps power down 4.4 seconds. Oh, I wish I knew how many laps we had left to do. Because I haven't got the foggiest idea. 2.7 seconds, looks like they're still getting caught on back markers. Thankfully, we won't. A little bit of slowdown there. And who is that? That is Portman. Just take the position. He's a lap down as well, so that's not an issue that we have to worry about. Nice tight line going through there, not too wide out on the curb. Those curbs are a bit deceiving. You can get caught up on them and they can turn you into the grass. I've lost a little bit of time on 10th place now, thanks to Portman. Okay, we got a yellow flag in some sector. So it looks like someone's gone off. You will see that on the replay. Oh, and actually the race is finished. That was it. Wow, so, yeah. I didn't even know that was the end of the race, but we get 11th place, which is a solid finishing position for round 1. I'm actually really happy with that. 25 laps. Didn't seem that was 25 laps at all. I thought we had a lot longer to go until then, but nope, that was it. Race over. We can actually drive back to the pits, finish a race, and I will be back with the race results in just a moment. So Steve Soper gets his maiden win for 1993, taking 15 points for Team Snitzer BMW. David Leslie bringing up 2nd place with 12 points. 3rd place, rounding out the podium, John Cleland in his Vauxhall Cavalier. Joachim Winkelhock and Tim Harvey rounding out the top 5 in manufacturer's points. And here's the top 5 in independents. I actually get the win for round number 1, taking 15 points. Matt Neal was 2nd with Ian Ashley bringing up 3rd place, rounding out the podium. Ian Cantwell in his little Mazda 323 bringing up 4th place, and Pagan Anderson taking 5th place in the BMW M3. So that was round 1 completed. It actually went really smoothly. I'm surprised actually. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. 11th place, that is a solid top 20 position, I guess, or almost top 10. I didn't actually expect to be in the top latter half of the field. I was expecting to be sort of like 18th, 17th, something like that. But anyway, this is only round 1 of 17 this season. So, yeah, if you enjoyed that race, if you enjoyed the series, then let me know in the comments. Always leave a like, and so on and so forth, and I will see you for the next round of the championship on April 15th when we head to Donington Park GP circuit for round 2 of the championship. So thank you very, very much for watching as ever, and I will see you then. Take care.